Folks, what you're going to need is your index card, something to write with, and a sheet of paper. And I can walk you through this while you guys are taking that out. It's no big deal.
Please.
All right, now your index cards were given back to you. You had some folks look at your index cards from yesterday, and then I did too. So yesterday when I looked at them, what I used was a kind of a bright red marker, and I made either a smiley face, a check mark, or a slash, and I circled it. So my mark was a bit different than anyone else's. I want you all looking at that index card, looking at the back. What would be a letter grade equivalent for the mark that's on the screen, but probably more important is what it means at the bottom. Smiley face, you really don't need to make any major changes. You're doing great. Check mark, you've got a good base, but it might be missing something. So maybe you didn't get to your bridge. Maybe there's a connection that's just not there. Or maybe the wording itself is really funky and it doesn't make sense. Okay? Now, if you got the slash mark, there's something majorly wrong going on. And it could be that it was really obvious just by looking at the piece that you never read the book. Or it could be that you just need help formulating this thing. You're not able to do it and you're struggling. So if you've got that little slash mark, that's my cue of you probably should get your booty into this room before or after school so we can sit down and go over this thing together. I can't do it in class at this point because you guys are in test mode. Today, tomorrow, Friday, that's test time. We're not doing multiple choice, we're writing, okay? But if you're needing help, I don't mind helping you guys outside the class period. So coming in before or after school is totally fine. All right? Now, that index card you're going to need today because that's your introduction. And for most of you, you're just going to copy that information down, repeat it, and then move on to the next step. All right? So next thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you watch the screen with me, and we're going to go over a few things about how today and tomorrow and Friday is going to be working. So very first thing, that purple box all the way at the very top, it's reminding you when this piece is due, but there's also an incentive to turn it in early. The essay is due on Friday by the end of the class period. No, can I take it over the weekend? It is due. Whether it's done or not, I'm taking it. And it says that it needs to be typed. No handwritten draft. The reason why it's got to be typed, I've got the computer lab for tomorrow and Friday. I expect you guys to get it typed. Okay? Now, if you are able to submit this early, and believe it or not, I've had kids complete the entire rough draft today. If you want to submit this piece early, and early would mean by the time that tardy bell goes on Friday, what you will get is the following. It says it on the screen, but I'm telling you two. One, I'll drop your lowest giver quiz grade. So if you completely bombed one, I'll drop it. Second, if you turn this thing early, I'll give you a golden ticket. So you get a little bit of incentive to make sure that you are, pedal to the metal getting this thing done. All right? Now, the next thing I'm going to go over has to deal with that series of folders that you folks have at your table. You guys have those little plastic polyurethane folders. If one person at your table could go ahead and open that would be fantastic. And inside you're going to find 3 items. In one pocket, you're going to see a series of purple outlines. You're going to take one of those purple outlines if you are writing the essay where you compare our society to Genesis. Okay, now in another pocket, you're going to find a pink outline. You're going to take the pink outline if you're writing the essay where you're explaining how the challenges Jonas faced changed him. All right, now the last piece in there, in the little prongs holder, I printed out everything we did yesterday. So if you need that for any reason, that's also in the folder. So what I want you to do right now, and it should not take you more than 20 seconds, I want each one at your table, each member, to have either that purple or that pink handout. Make sure that you have the right one. If you don't have a handout, there's a problem. Now, these handouts are not for you to keep. They're in-class use only. But you folks will be able to find them on fessenglish8.com. I can show it to you real quick. So if you want to have your own copy at home, you can. So on the home website, something you might want to notice here is that there's an extra credit opportunity. No one has noticed it yet, which lets me know that no one's gone on to fessenglish8.com. Been there for 3 days. If you go into the tab that says EA Help, which I'm blowing up right here, if you click that open, left-hand column, this U2 EA1 outline, this is what you folks have. This is the purple and pink page, okay? Now this document, it's 3 pages. And it shouldn't freak you out. You only have to be focusing on 2. So I'm going to do a very quick walkthrough of how this works, just to make things a little bit easier for you. Okay, this outline, not outlet. This outline is idiot-proof. Unless you're really not able to read English or comprehend or read at all, you should ace this essay. Because on this form, it gives you what to write for every single sentence, not paragraph. Every single sentence is given a direction for you. So again, idiot-proof, you all should ace this. If you're not acing it, it makes me wonder. Okay? Now, the way to look at this form, don't get overwhelmed with it at all. It's really not hard. Okay, you see where there's these subheadings that are underlined and bolded? Nod your head. Okay, that's letting you know that this is a paragraph, and what falls underneath it is the sentence outline for every paragraph. So here's the first paragraph. That's your intro. Here's the second paragraph, your first bottom paragraph, and it just keeps going. Right? That's not hard. Now, the next thing I want you to do is take your outline, flip it to the back side, so you're seeing something that looks like that. Okay, now, I want you to understand why this is back here. It's a series of transitions and examples of what embedded quotes should look like. Now, these transitions have letters corresponding with them, A, B, and C. Now what I'm going to have you do is flip it back over to the opposite side. And you're going to notice for certain sentences, it's going to say, hey, use the transition from box A or from box B. What that means is you have to actually flip to the back and find a proper transition to put it in. It's like one big puzzle. All you got to do is put the pieces together, not hard. One thing I do want to point out to you, because I've had some kids make some comments that have made me go, oh man. I had a student say, can I use the embedded quote from here? And I said, do any of them look like they're from The Giver? None of them are from The Giver. So if all you do is slap this into your essay, it's not going to make any sense. Talking about Katniss and the Hunger Games when your essay is about Jonas and The Giver? Way to go. All right, I don't want that to happen, but that's why I'm pointing it out to you. All right? Last little things before you folks are on your merry, happy way. Let's talk about that quarter slip of paper that you picked up from the top of this collection cart. If you have not put your name on it, put your name on it. Own that little slip of paper. Because it was on the top of the collection cart and you should have read it in the do now. Okay, now this quarter slip of paper, it's divvied up into 3 columns. There's a column that lists days of this week. There's a column that says assignments, tasks, and one that says signature. Only my signature goes into that signature area, okay? Not too shabby. Now, you are given specific tasks every day. So the first task from yesterday, the index card, if you were here yesterday, you folks all get my signature for it. But if you check out what it says today, your goal is to get the first 2 body paragraphs done. That's what you are responsible for getting done and for getting my signature. Now there's some info at the top that's letting you know why you may not get a signature from me. Okay? But the last thing about this form, don't lose it. Don't forget it. Because you can only get signatures the day that it's happening. So let's say tomorrow, oh, I forgot my slip. You don't get my signature, you don't get the points. And if you take a look at the bottom of that form, the form's worth some points. It's got a couple percentages with the overall grade. So for some of you, it would be great. Hey, if I just keep my mouth shut, do what I need to do, I'll be fine. I have had a handful of kids each class period finish the entire rough draft today because they just put pedal to the metal, got it done. So that means every single one of you is capable of doing it too. All right? Now, the rest of the time is all for you. We are in test mode. The Yakka tracker will be on. If you have questions, you can ask, but most of them I won't be able to answer because it is that test section. So stuff about the giver, no way am I going to answer that. If you're wanting me to look at your rough draft, come in before or after school. I'm not going to do it when it's test time. All right, rest of the time is yours. Get working.